This isn't new. This isn't new to you, but we need a obviously a review of this. And I know because I have confidence in you guys that the stuff that we're going to do now is not going to be as hard for you as it was when you had it 2 years ago. So you have two equations. And you should notice that both of the equations have an x and a y in it. And what you need to do is use substitution to solve for both the x and the y. This right here is called a system. It's called a system because it's more than one equation. It's a system of equations. But whatever x and y work out for these things, they have to work for both equations. So whatever value of x you get, it better work out for this equation and this one, and the same thing for the y values. So what we're going to do is solve for a variable, and we're going to plug it into the other equation, substitute it in other words, and then we're going to go from there. So you need to decide by looking at these two things which variable and which equation are you talking about would be very easy to solve for. So yeah, you could do this. You could solve for x in this top equation. What would you do to solve for x? Just subtract y. Yeah. Or you could solve for y. Subtract x. There are many ways to do this. All of you might do it differently, but in the end, you should all come up with the same answer. So don't think that because the person sitting next to you is doing something different, it means that they're doing it wrong, because they're not. So sounds like I should probably work with this equation. So I'm going to write it down again. And I have to decide, am I going to solve for x or am I going to solve for y? I'm going to solve for y. Subtract x from each side. I'm going to be left with y is equal to 4 minus x. So I started with this equation. Don't go back to it right now. Go to this equation. And y is equal to 4 minus x. So I'm going to take that value of y, and I'm going to plug it in for that y. And I'm going to solve for x. So now I'm going to rewrite this equation, but I'm not going to write y. I'm going to write what y is. So I've got x minus whatever y is. And y is 4 minus x. So I have x minus this equals, what is it equal to? 2. It's equal to 2. And then we solve for x. So we have this negative sign out in front of this parenthesis, so you have to distribute it in. So you're going to have x minus 4 plus x is equal to 2. So if you have an x and an x, collecting like terms now, how many x's is that? 2. So you have 2x minus 4 equals 2. Add 4.
Add 4.
So you have 2x is equal to 6.
Divide by 2.
Which means x equals 3.
I can find that.
That's all we have to do.
That's all. Well, now you have to go back. This is the x. Now you got to go find the y. Finding the y, though, go back to your original system. Go back to your original system of equations. X is 3.
So 3 plus
So
1.
pick one. It does not matter which one of these two equations you choose. But you got to pick one and plug that x value back in wherever you see an x and figure out what y is. I'm going to avoid using this because there's a negative in it. It would be much easier if I could just use the top one. You guys already see what the answer is. X is 3. We just figured out here. So I go 3 plus y is 4. So what's y? 1. You do not write your answers like this, though. You write them as an ordered pair, an x, y. Yeah. So in parentheses, 3, comma, 1. That's it. Always a good thing to check your work. So if in doubt, or even if not in doubt, you should probably go back and check your work. So I'm going to take this 3 and this 1, and I'm going to plug it in for the x and the y in both equations to make sure I get what I'm supposed to get. So I'm gonna take my x value plus my y value to see if I get 4. Does that work out?
Yes.
Is 3 plus 1 4? Yes, I'm gonna put a check mark next to it, it's true. Ouch. I'm gonna take this x minus y to see if I get 2. Well, x is 3, y is 1, 3 minus 1 is 2.
Can we do another one?
Oh yeah. Yep. Next one is a little harder.
That's
Another example. 3x plus 2y equals negative 8, and x plus 3y equals 2. That's my system. My suggestion to you is to always solve for the easiest variable to solve for. Of these x's and y's up here, which one would be really easy to solve for? The second one, in which variable, the x or the y? Yeah. See, that's all alone. Doesn't have anything in front of it. So I'm going to rewrite it. X plus 3y equals 2. What do I do to solve for x?
subtract the x.
Minus 3y. So x is equal to 2 minus 3y. That's it. You don't have to divide by anything to solve for x. It's already nicely laid out for us. But I'm going to take this x value. Now, do not go back to the equation that you just solved for. Go back to the other one. So I'm going to take this x value and I'm going to plug it in for that. So I have 3 times x. What is x? It is 2 minus 3y. So we have 3 times 2 minus 3y plus 2y equals negative 8. And then you have to solve. What variable am I going to be solving for first this time? For y, yeah. So I'm going to distribute in. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times negative 3y is negative 9y plus 2y is negative 8.
Negative 9 plus 2 is
Like terms, yep. So we've got 6. Negative 9y plus 2y is
Negative 7y.
negative 7y equals negative 8.
So get rid of the 6.
Yep, get rid of the 6. And 6 is the 6. So we have negative 7y equals negative 14. Divide both sides by negative 7. Y is equal to 2. I'm writing this. Sorry.
Ooh, I like that.
Y is 2. Well, we need an x. Now, this is, you have a choice now. You can take this y value and you can plug it into either one. Which one am I probably going to use? The bottom one, because there's less going on in it. It's just an x. It's not being multiplied by anything. So I'm going to take that y value. I have got x plus 3 times y, which I just figured out was 2, is equal to 2. So x plus
6.
equals 2.
Subtract the 6.
Got the 6.
X equals negative.
Negative 4. Yep.
That's your x.
That's your x. So how do I write my answer?
Negative 4 comma 2. Yay!
Well, unexpectedly super hard. They're gonna get for today. The only ones that are gonna throw you off a little bit are probably ones that have fractions in it.
Ew.
These happen.
You do one with the fraction.